Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to this amazing workshop that we are expecting. And yes, yesterday we had a wonderful day one with Mr. Radha Krishnan sir on commercial photography. And he taught us things that are not actually taught in the school. Proceeding today, we have our own very special Mr. R. Prasanna ji. He's been a guru on Vidyadaan and he's been with us for many months now. He has already given very successful workshops here on this platform, and he is a photographer and photo mentor who's going to give you idea of art of portraits. Along with Prasanna sir, today I have very amazing Mr. Mukesh Srivastava sir as well, and we really welcome him on board for first time being on Vidyadaan. So, sir, most welcome here
Thank
on
you,
our
thank you,
platform.
thank you, Pooja.
Thank you,
Prasanna
ma'am.
sir, you have been with us many times. And even after your session, I keep getting messages and comments, even after a week of your session. And Mukesh sir, you will be surprised. Last time when Prasanna sir did a session, I was getting queries from Malaysia and Sri Lanka
Yeah, it's true,
about,
it's true. Yeah.
yeah, they were sending me their work and they wanted Prasanna sir to review it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel very
Prasanna,
humbled, ma'am.
Prasanna Sen is very popular.
He is
Not
indeed.
at all,
And
ma'am, not at all.
Yeah,
And thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, Mukesh sir. I'm a big fan of your work.
yeah.
I know Mukesh sir for the past, I think, past 7 years. I think we were in Nikon together as mentors for Nikon, and he's an amazing photographer. And I'm happy that his sir is also here. And I'm happy that I'm being given this platform to share my work with a lot of photographers, upcoming photographers, and everyone. So
and
thank you, MESC, and thank you, Pooja, ma'am.
yes, thank you to Pixel Village as well for coordinating this workshop. And Mukesh sir is himself doing a workshop on fine arts on 16th of September.
Yes, I'm looking
So
forward
we
to
are
that
really
workshop.
excited.
Pooja, this is almost like a virgin works presentation for me. This for the first time I am presenting on fine art photography. I never knew that I am doing fine art photography, but only Prasanna Sen told me, no, you are doing fine art photography. So finally, I opened my hard disk and I got around 400 images. What fine art?
Sir, please show
Wow.
that whenever you do the session, please show that hummingbird drinking water image of yours.
Sure,
That's
sure,
a
sure.
very popular image which has been published all over the world. Actually, so it's a
Yeah.
Wow.
very popular image. That's a
Pooja,
very
that image was displayed in Kodak Gallery in Times Square, New York City for 24
Wow.
hours.
very
24
Amazing.
famous
hours
image.
in
Yeah.
2008,
Wonderful, sir. I'm so
and that
happy to be
and
I'm so
that
happy
came.
to be with legends like you both.
No, hardly
And
legend, ma'am.
Yesterday,
Just
yesterday
no, no,
Radha
no,
sir
no.
was there. He was just amazing. It was
We are
wonderful having him here.
we are just a student of photography.
yes, always students.
Always. And that Pooja, that photograph was published in the cover page of Australia's 2012 calendar.
Wow.
That image also got cover page in Better Photography magazine.
Wonderful. So now it's increasing my excitement day by day.
Yeah.
So every day we have a new thing coming up,
And tomorrow
and
we have Neil Bose. He's a fantastic fashion
He's a
photographer.
fantastic. I know
Fantastic
him.
fashion photographer.
I know him very well. Even Anil sir knows him.
right, sir. So now
Anil,
I hand over the session to both of you, and I'll be at the back end watching and enjoying the work and learning from Prasanna sir and Mukesh sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
yeah. It's
Okay,
visible.
so
If you
I'll
want
just,
to make it full screen, please.
yeah, I'll do it full screen.
Like in Pooja, I think he should do some introduction of Prasanna Sen.
Yes, absolutely. It's
Before.
always an honor, sir, to introduce Prasanna sir. First, the thing that I've actually mentioned about Prasanna sir, it's what has actually come out of my heart, because he's been our guru. He's been with us for prior sessions as well. It's always amazing to have him. And even when we are having a telephonic conversation, he never make me feel that I'm talking to such a big, photographer. He is a self-taught professional photographer from Chennai, uh, India, specializing in people and advertising photography. He's got over 20 years of experience shooting for national and international brands. He has also shot promotional material for 7 big budget movies as well.
Yeah.
He is also an award winning photo mentor and has done more than 150 workshops for beginners as well as professionals. He believes that fundamentals create a solid foundation, and it's a must to learn the ideas and concepts to take your photography to the next level. I have a huge list and I can keep talking about him. He's got 10-year plus of teaching experience. Now he's our master trainer as well. He's gone through
Thank you so much, ma'am.
MESC master training trainer workshop as well.
So
And yes,
learning that a master trainer program was a big learning experience for me also. I learned a lot of things. I felt like going back to school, college, and doing all this homework, assignments, and everything.
and
Thank you so much.
I personally know that Prasanna sir was so nervous that now his result is going to come out.
Yeah, just like in college, it was just like in college and school. The result announcement will be, we were just waiting without eating anything, without drinking water, praying to all the gods. Same thing, butterflies in the stomach.
Absolutely. I should not miss that he is a brand ambassador for Godox India and
Yes.
brand influencer for Sony and brand ambassador for Hollyland Technologies as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So if you
Welcome,
allow me,
welcome,
I'll keep
welcome.
on going. I'll keep going with this his introduction.
Sure.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
okay,
ma'am.
Prasanna son. Best of luck. Carry on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Since we have portrait photography today, and it's for I made the presentation so that it's useful for beginners as well as some kind of tips for professionals also. So since I'm a professional photographer, I do a lot of people-oriented commercial work like fashion shoots. I do advertising work. Then I do travel photography and all these things. Basically, based on people photography. So I like working with people. So one thing that we have to learn about being a good portrait photographer is you have to enjoy being with people. You have to enjoy working with people. If I don't like people, if I can't communicate properly with people, then it becomes very difficult to become a portrait photographer. So that is one thing that we have to learn in portrait photography. So first we'll just see the basics, like what is a portrait. Portrait is just technically speaking is a composed picture of a person, or it can also be a pet, or it can also be an animal. So this is a composed picture, like it doesn't have to be shot with artificial light. It can be one basic. This is a very simple portrait which I've done of actress Revati. Sunlight, just a small fill there, and it's a very 80s kind of picture. This can be very simple lighting. You don't sometimes you can do great portraits in natural light. Yesterday Raja sir was showing so much of work, amazing work shot on natural light. It was like stunning. Then we also have this kind of complicated lighting systems where we do a lot of layering in the light, and we add a lot of drama to the image, just to give a sense of grandeur to the whole picture. So sometimes portraits I do in natural light, and sometimes I do in artificial light. Types of portrait, this is for beginners. Types of portrait, we have formal portrait, which is where we wear a coat and we just stand for a passport for a photo. These are all like formal portraits where our features have to be visible. It shouldn't be high. You shouldn't have any shadows on your face. We shouldn't be facing somewhere else. I have very good pictures of my from my vacation, family vacation, but I cannot use that on my Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card, I have to look straight, and I know I don't look good in the Aadhaar card or license, but it is mandatory to look straight, flat lighting and everything. So that's a formal portrait. Then you have corporate portraits also, where you take a picture of the boss and MD looking at the camera for the website and everything. Then you have casual portraits. Casual portraits is nothing but where I was telling you, I was taking a vacation with my family. I was just taking some portraits there. There's some very casual portraits. They're spending time with family. Some candid, very casual portraits. In wedding also, people shoot candid pictures. Some of them are very casual. It's very casual interactions happening between people and all these moments. So then we have this family portrait, and this is all very self-explanatory. This family portrait. Then we have bridal portraits. Newborn portrait. Newborn portrait is a huge trend that is happening, and a lot of people shoot maternity. They shoot newborn. They specialize in newborn pictures, and it's a very good career option also. Shooting newborn babies, like they have special props in all the new studios. They have special props, special backdrops, and special kind of material to place the small baby in and take really good pictures. And there's a lot of people who are making really good money shooting newborn portrait. Again, we have another thing that is picking up very fast, which is the pet portrait. See, everybody loves their pet. Mukesh sir, I've seen pictures of you and your what's his name? Buzo. I have my son. My son is there, Scooby Doo. So I love taking pictures of my pet, and I don't mind spending for that also. So if you have any doubt, you can go to any pet shop and you can see the price of one pet shampoo or one pet pet food or something. You'll be very surprised. People are willing to spend a lot of money for the pet that they love, and these pets give a lot of affection back. So it's very it's a very good career option also for portrait photographers. So basically speaking, technically, eyes are the entry point of a portrait. Like when we have a picture where you're showing a person's eye or the face, where the eyes are visible. So the eyes are considered as the entry point. It's a very basic presentation, nothing very fancy about it. So eyes are the entry point of a portrait. Here you can see the eyes are very sharp. I have given a layered light. There's a little bit of drama in the background and all these things. So I'll show you a couple of images here. So if you can see these images, you can't see much of a difference. They all look same. So when we send the pictures to a client and we just send it, it looks great on the LCD camera, LCD, and we just send it across. But what happens is technically sometimes there isn't 100% sharpness, and there is no focus in eyes. In the first picture, you see the camera is focused on the ears, and the second picture you can see the camera is focused on the eyes. So technically speaking, the second picture is the perfect one, where you can see the clarity in the eyes and everything. So why am I insisting, or why am I giving this so much of importance? Because nowadays we see, once we send the photo to a client, they have a smartphone, immediately they zoom it to like 300%. They'll be like zooming the entire picture. So once they zoom it, then they start seeing out of focus images. That gives a bad impression on the photographer also, because all of these clients are youngsters. This for wedding photography, and very young people, and they are very socially active on Instagram. They're very active on Instagram, on Facebook. They see a lot of photographers work, and they also sometimes know photography, and they sometimes even have a better camera than us. So all these things happens in a professional scenario. So we have to ensure that whenever the face is in focus and you're showing the eyes, you have to make sure that you place the focus on the eyes. Okay, so camera settings. So this is one thing that I want to keep it in the beginning of the presentation. Why? There is a reason. Just imagine, I'm a professional photographer, Mukesh sir is a professional photographer, and we're all professional photographers. So one thing that we have to do is like, how do I say? Okay, let's take for an example. There are two kind of people. Like they're going on for a long journey in their car. Okay, one person, which is me. I have a certain set of rules. I will check the air pressure. I will check the petrol. I will check the petrol level. I will check whether the engine is making any noise. I will check whether there is sufficient air, whether the wheel, the spare wheel is having correct air. So the oil level is correct, engine is not heating. All these checks that I make I make it before the journey. So there are there is a second kind of people who will think, okay, yeah, on the way we'll just see petrol, no problem, air, no problem. So this is a thing that we have to avoid. So the camera settings, you have to know the camera settings and all the technicalities before going for a portrait photo shoot. Because what happens is whenever we go and fumble in front of the, you're shooting a couple, then you're fumbling in front of the couple, like you're searching, oh, what is this button? I don't know what is the setting. Suddenly it has got changed. And all these things, they will lose confidence in us first as a photographer. First, we have to be very, very confident in our approach and the camera, thorough in the camera settings. So what do you say, sir?
Yeah, it's fine, because what happens, unless a photographer knows 100% about his camera, he cannot perform with very, very high confidence in front of the clients.
Yes, yes.
And
sir? I think some technical issues.
I think his internet is.
Okay. Blame it on the rains, ma'am. I think I think I keep on seeing pictures of Delhi floating. There's a boat going around. So it reminds me of Chennai. Chennai monsoon is also somewhat similar to that. So whenever we take a camera, we just understand how the camera's autofocus works. All of these cameras, new camera, every one of these camera has a autofocus nowadays, and there is something called a single servo or AFS mode, which we use for non-moving subjects, that is stationary subjects, which is the subject is just standing there, sitting there, just is just being there, it's not going to move. Then we can go keep the camera in autofocus single servo. Like the camera will focus, it will lock the focus, and you can immediately click. But what if the subject is going to move? Then you have to go for autofocus continuous servo. So if I'm going to shoot a wedding, nothing is under our control. In a wedding scenario or in a wedding photography, nothing is under our control. Maybe the pre-wedding shoot, post-wedding shoot, or the post-couple shoots, the group photos, maybe those things we can have under control. But when we have people, lots and lots of people moving here, there, and everywhere, it's very, very difficult to get the sharp image and sharp focus. So in that scenario, we can shoot in autofocus continuous servo. So all these things I want you to know before you go for a shoot. Please don't go there and start experimenting with start searching for settings like where is the white balance button, where is the raw file button, what is the autofocus button. All these things we have to be like, it's like what we call as muscle memory. Like when you have dancers have every photographer have muscle memory. Like even if you allow me in the dark, the hands always go to the correct button. So the finger will go to the shutter button, all these things. So just like that, like that, we have to practice every day with the camera. And like Mukesh also said, you have to be like 100% thorough with the camera, so that you have really good confidence. You'll have really good confidence in a portrait shoot, and that confidence is very, 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 very important in a portrait shoot. You should never fumble in front of the client, and they will definitely lose confidence in you. So that creates a lot of issues. So nowadays in mirrorless cameras, we have eye autofocus. In Canon, we have eye autofocus. We have Nikon, we have Sony. All these have eye autofocus. You can set the camera to eye autofocus. But when you are shooting a group picture, I suggest that you switch off the eye autofocus. Yes, you can just use face detection or something like that, but you can switch off the eye autofocus. Then shutter speed optimized for the lens. There is some cameras will have this thing, image stabilization. Some cameras don't have image stabilization. Like mirrorless cameras have image stabilization. DSLRs don't have IBIS, and sometimes you'll be using a slightly older lens which does not have vibration reduction. Then use a shutter speed that is optimized for the lens. This is a very, very basic rule, like very basic rule. This is the thumb rule that my gurus taught me. Like if I'm going to use a 200 mm lens, then use a shutter speed that is slightly above 200. That is like 1/250 or 1/3. That is what they used to teach, because then you can avoid the shake. One thing, two things that you cannot correct in post-production is the first the camera shake, and second is the autofocus images. Very, very difficult to correct. So you'll have a great image, but if it goes out of focus, then it's very, very difficult to correct it. Then if you have a lens image stabilization, keep it on, or body image stabilization, please keep it on. Then shoot in RAW. Shoot in RAW is one important thing that I want to share, because in people photography, especially if you are shooting wedding or event photography, we always concentrate on the moment. The moment is very, very crucial. The moment, capturing the moment, capturing the feelings, and capturing all these small emotions that's happening in that wedding is very, very crucial. So when we shoot in JPEG, or sometimes we'll have definite issues in the exposure or white balance and all these things, especially in white balance. So all these weddings nowadays they do use a lot of these colorful lights and all these things. Then it's very, very difficult. So each shot I'll be like looking at the camera, trying to figure out what is the correct white balance. Instead of that, you can just shoot in RAW and concentrate on the moment and get the
Yes.
shots. So that will be a better way. So whenever I do all these things, I set up my camera first, then only I go for the shoot. I see whether the battery is full, whether the memory card is, the space is there, because most of the times there'll be a issue where there'll be like this great shots happening and your card will get full. All these things. So we have to prepare for everything before going out for a portrait shoot. So best lenses for portrait, we have, this is some basic stuff. Normally we have the cinematic focal lengths like 35 mm, 85 mm, 100 mm. But if you have a regular crop body, you can use a 55 to 210 or a 70 to 300 or a 70 to 200 2.8. These are all really good lenses for portraits. You can even use ultra wide lenses for portrait, but that I'll just cover slightly later. Okay, now so this kind of image, this is the kind of images that we shoot in a commercial shoot, like where we have to get all the detail correct. I have to get the skin correct, I have to get the jewelry detail correct, I have to get the silk saree correct, and all these things. And we have to get the lighting also a little dramatic. The picture has to be visually good, aesthetically, the colors, everything has to be perfect. So I just play a small video where I show the behind the scenes of this shot. So I hope that video was useful. There's a lot of team effort that goes behind in a advertising shoot, where the production guys, the art department, the lighting department, the client, then the fashion stylist, then the makeup artist, the model, everyone plays a role in getting the pictures correct. So this is an entire team effort. It's not a professional advertising shoot is never a single person job. It's like a team effort. You have a team of people like working, like you have a makeup artist, you have a stylist, then you have a costumer, you have a sari drapist, then you have a makeup artist, hairstylist, then you have a touch-up boy. All these things, everything comes together to make the shoot a success. So we have to ensure that we are a team player. So that is what is very important in a professional shoot. We have to learn how to work as a team, because the teamwork is very, very important in this. And the photographer is like the captain of the ship. But still, we have to ensure that everybody knows their job perfectly. We do a mood board kind of a thing where we just plan the colors, we plan the makeup, we plan the background. What are the colors that we are going to use in the background, and what are the kind of props? Props are like small things like lamps and all these things. What are the props that we are going to use in the background? All these things we pay a lot of attention, because attention to details is one thing that takes you to the next level. That is what I'll say. So these kind of details, everything is planned meticulously and everything is executed. And at the time, there can be like a 10% variations here, there, and everywhere. But we make a clear list of things, and we make everything clear to the team and everything. So it's all planned. It's all totally planned. Like Radha sir was telling yesterday, when we do an outdoor shoot, we definitely do a recce. Recce is like we go and see the location at least 3 days before the shoot, and we just go and see where is which direction sun is rising, which direction it's going to set. Second, access to the location, very, very important. Like as a photographer, I feel that that mountain, that's a rock in the mountain top is looking fantastic. It's like great. I want my subject to stand there, but is it possible? Is it safe? All these things we have to plan, because just climbing a mountain will take a lot of time. People start losing energy. Then the sweat, there'll be a lot of sweat. All these practical difficulties you can manage only if you can if you do a recce, and you have to ensure that there's a proper changing room somewhere. Even if you are doing a pre-wedding shoot, maybe proper changing room, proper restroom, or all these things, small things. This will give you a better result, because first thing that we have to keep in mind while doing a portrait shoot is the subject's comfort. We should never make them uncomfortable. So when we are shooting with a couple or with models, we ensure that they're 100% comfortable and they're not facing any discomfort, because suddenly there won't be any place to change. We can't ask them to go, please change your costume and come, because this location is beautiful. Beautiful location is one thing, but is it practical? Is it accessible? Can a car go there? All these sort of things we have to plan before the shoot, and on the day of the shoot, it will go like it will be a total breeze. Sir, what are your thoughts on that planning, sir? You can please share your thoughts also, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, definitely. That Reiki and pre-planning is very, very essential before going for a final shoot. Otherwise, what happens? You lose a lot of time. Again, your main subject is getting so much nervous because of so many here and there moving and moving around. So that Reiki is very essential to know the direction of light, to know the location, know the right place where to shoot, and then the model. Prasanna san, I would like to share with you. In outdoor shoots, I carry a changing tent, folded changing tent.
Yes, sir, that's a good idea, sir.
Yeah, it helps a lot, because it's just a foldable you can carry in the car. Initially, I was carrying a big bed sheets, putting on the car top and getting the model days changed. But now I'm carrying that folding changing tent. It helps a lot.
Yeah, that will. The otherwise it's very difficult, sir. And also one thing that I would like add is I'm just looking at your background image, which is a fantastic misty landscape, which is very inspiring actually. So most of the time when we are as a beginner, as a photographer, when we go out and see this location for the first time, we get confused where to start. That is one confusion. What will happen is, I don't know, everything is looking good. I don't know where to start, this one or that one. So what we try to do is, we go to a recce, we see the place, we break down the place into small blocks. Okay, this is one block where we can shoot. Okay, there's a second block where we can shoot. All these bigger areas, we just break them into small blocks. So it's easy for us to concentrate. Otherwise, we'll get totally diverted. We'll be looking at this side. Oh, this is looking good. Okay, why should we start here? All these confusions that will happen, that happens for beginner photographers. because they don't do a recce. Recce is 100% must, and like the sir said, the changing tents are available here in Decathlon. I think you can get a changing tent, and we have to ensure the subject is safe, they're secure, and they're very comfortable. Some people will have a difficulty even facing the sun, or even facing a small, even if you place a small silver reflector, they'll have a lot of difficulty. They'll say, sir, my eyes are hurting. They start getting tears and everything. So we can't blame them. They're not professional models. So when we are shooting with regular people, then we have to ensure that they're not facing the light directly, and all these things, small things only, that will add to the final picture. So seeing the place as a photographer, as an artist, is totally different as seeing the place through the subject size, like if I have to take a 2 hour trek to one beautiful location, walking to a beautiful location, I have to check whether my subject is also willing to take the trek. So it shouldn't be like I'm forcing my subject. So what I'll do now is I'll share some pictures. So sometimes we cannot depend on daylight. Like you can see in this image, the image is looking very dull. If I had increased the exposure a little bit, there is this area where near the shoulder, you can see there's a bright patch that was getting blown off. So I tried using a reflector also, but still again the same problem. It was not enough, because the light was getting filtered through the green leaves, and it was bouncing off things. So I was getting a green color cast on the shadows. So the model was standing there. The jewelry was not looking rich. The saree was not looking rich, because as a bridal portrait, everybody wants to wear the finest thing on their wedding day. So we have to capture the details. We have to ensure all these details are captured. So in this scenario, I use a flash. So using a flash, it gives me a slightly distinct subject, little separation between the background and subject, and it's not making the model look very dull and lifeless. In this image, you can see the previous image. Previous image is very dark. This is okay for a fashion portrait. It's okay, but for a silk saree, we need to capture the colors and the richness of the silk saree. So I have used a little fill flash. It's not overpowering the entire thing. It's just a little bit of fill flash to get that correct color and everything ready, to get the correct skin tone and everything. So as a professional photographer, we cannot always depend on natural light. Suddenly sun god will say, I don't want to come outside. Suddenly it will start raining, and we can't tell the client that I'm sorry. This is where we have to have something called a plan B or plan C, or you have till plan Z. You have to keep on making adjustments till we get the correct shot. So these kind of portraits we have shot with the continuous light, with the Godox lights. You can see there's a importance on color. Here you can see there are just two colors, two dominant colors, which is one is red and another is green. You can use your sense of color to make take this kind of dramatic portraits, because any other color, I don't think it will work out like this. Only because it's like opposite colors, it's like working out really nice, like a high fashion shot. So this is a very controlled lighting, where I've used a grid, and I've used a lot of cutters to get this exact amount of light on the model's face, and without spilling to the backdrop. So here also, again, I've used color. I have used warm color and cold color. Cold is the blue one, which is giving that kind of a night effect. Actually, it's not a very expensive backdrop. It is just a vinyl sheet, which we got printed on the reverse. And the model we have lit with one Godox AD200 with a small gobo in the front. Gobo is a small thing that you place in front of the flash. Okay, this is another thing which it is an experimental shot. This I wanted to show you because sometimes when we go to a location, we might not get anything interesting. Sometimes even if you have the best light or anything, best lighting equipment with you or anything, so that the sky will be very flat. There won't be anything interesting. There are a lot of disturbances in the background. in that kind of a scenario, you can always try light painting like this. So create something interesting, which is with whatever available things that you are. Just a small LED tube, right? You just create something interesting. So it is our creativity that that matters. That's why I just wanted to show this image, because there was nothing there in the background. It's totally dark, nothing there. In the background, it was totally empty. So if I had taken a picture of a person standing there with flash, it wouldn't have it wouldn't have so much of impact. So what I have done is I have just used a LED tube to create this kind of a light painting image. So that looks interesting. That's all. So main thing is you create interesting images that will hold the subject's so the viewer's attention, and it will create something new. So again, in this picture also, you can see the ray of light that's coming in the back, from the front, and all these things. The choice of props is very important in this picture. We have to pay attention to the props also, the kind of props. Props are these lamps and all these small things, which add the mood to the picture, where it will add sense to the picture. Like this is a very South Indian bridal look. That's why I've used a South Indian temple, that kind of a lamp. So if I have started, if I want to use everything, like I want to put one Persian lamp, I want to put one gramophone, everything, it will be very cluttered. So we have to make sure the subject is standing out, and these props are just adding as a support element. They are just acting as a supporting element and not dominating the picture. So I just wanted to show the viewers this so that they can understand where to use a prop and how much props we should use. Because in some studios, we find a lot of props, sir. Here in Chennai, we find a lot of props. We find lots and lots of things, lamp, GIMP, everything. But we have to make a very conscious decision not to overdo the props part, because that will take the attention away from the subject. That is what I feel. Sir, what do you think, sir?
Yeah, definitely, because the center of attraction is the main subject. So the props should be as minimum as possible, just to suffix the main subject.
Yes, sir.
Not to dominate, because center of attraction is the subject. And the way you have created the light in the background, it's a fantastic impact, because the state where the viewer's eye start from the top right and comes to the face of the main subject.
Correct, sir.
And then
that's why I've used the diagonal line.
Yeah. And in the end, the eyes goes to the prop just for a fraction of second, not even for a second. Again, start coming to the top, left top, and then coming to the face of the main model. This is the way we have to make our frame to see that our center of attraction is pop up very well.
So that's why I use very minimal and very relevant props.
Yeah.
There has to be a logic behind the props that we use, and that's why I use very minimal props, and I make sure that they have some connection with the subject. It shouldn't like look totally cluttered or anything like that. So that's one thing. And I quickly want to share with you about environmental portraits. So there are many types of portraits. So we have close-ups and everything. Sometimes we also shoot environmental portraits. As a professional photographer, we also shoot environmental portraits. So environmental portrait is, if I show you the picture of our maestro Ilayaraja sir, is a very, very famous musician. But people who don't know him that much might, if I take a close-up of him and ask, sir, what is he? They may say, if I take a close-up of myself, or just take a close-up of myself and show it to some person, can you guess what is my profession? They'll say, I don't know. I can just see your face. So when I have a camera in my hand, I'm just focusing on something, and I just showing them the picture. They'll say, yeah, you're a photographer. So we are giving visual hints about the subject. That's the idea behind this environmental portrait, where you can see that the subject is a musician, because we have introduced a musical. He's using a musical instrument. Like in the movies, you'll see very famous scenes, like very, very cliched scenes, like where a doctor will be wearing white coat and one stethoscope. Immediately you will understand, okay, this is a doctor, and there's there'll be a hospital setup. Immediately your mind will understand that, okay, he's a doctor and all these things. So environmental portrait, like if I show this picture, you can understand that he's a fisherman. He's a owner of a boat. So we keep the subject to just 30% in the frame, and we give a lot of information in the
Environment.
background, a lot of information and importance to the background also. So from the background, you can get information about the subject. So this is what we call as a environmental portrait. So here you can see there's a board, there is C, he's holding a wooden, that's what we call as a, there's a very famous here, sir, there's this kind of boards where they tie the wooden logs and they make a small boat. So all these things, it will give the information that he's a fisherman and he belongs to the sea and all these things. So here you can see he's a chef, but without the hat and without the thing, they're wearing a normal shirt, nobody can understand that he's a chef. So here I'm visually giving information that he's a chef by adding a lot of information in the background. Like I'm showing plates, I'm showing some dish, he's wearing a uniform and he's wearing a chef's cap. All these things are consciously placed in the picture to give an idea that he's a chef. So this is what we call an environmental portrait, where this is where the subject works and this is his environment. This is what the subject is. And all these things we include in the picture. So again, you can see is the captain of a ship. You can see the name of the ship there. You can see how he's standing. I've used a slightly lower angle camera so that to give a slightly majestic look to him, because it's some people of power, we always go with a slightly lower camera angle. So here we can see that he's the captain of a ship. He's wearing that hat and everything is perfect. And you see, you can get the visual information from the picture. Again, he's a very famous Spanish surfer. He was in Chennai, so I was fortunate to shoot this picture. And you can see that he's a surfer. He's holding a surfboard. There's a sea, there's one wave and everything there. So all these things are giving a lot of clues to what he is actually. So they're adding information. So this is what we call as an environmental portrait. As photographers, we also have to start doing environmental portraits. So another thing about portrait photography, about wedding photography, is we have to establish the relationship in the picture. Once we see the picture, we have to establish, people have to understand that, okay, they are a couple, something like that. So all this body language and everything is very, very important. Like how they're holding the hands, you can see the hips are joined and they're holding the hands, looking into each other's eyes. So we can have, all these things are very, very subtle clues about their relationship. So again, we'll see this image. This was shot with an 18mm lens. So very, so I think 18mm or 20mm lens, very wide angle lens. I've placed the subject consciously in the center of the frame to avoid distortion. Yes, sir. Otherwise, sir, we know that it will goes in the corner. The head will go like that.
It will become a semicircle.
Semicircle. So distorted. That's why I keep the heads.
So that's why Prasanna said using wide angle lens is very tricky, unless
very tricky,
almost unless the photographer is quite experienced, he cannot handle it. And particularly the fisheye lens I bought in 2005.
Okay.
But I learned to use a fisheye lens after 5 years.
Oh.
Because it was very tricky to use that.
It's very tricky, sir. Very tricky. Some
areas
and nowadays started, and some areas it has to be correct. It's very tricky to use it. The subject placement is very, very tricky in a wide,
very important.
So why I place the subject's face in the center of the frame is because I don't want the subject's face to get distorted. Otherwise, the head will go like this, body will be like this, standing like that. So this is why we keep the subject in the center of the frame. And we were actually very fortunate to have clouds like this on that day, sir. We had models were wearing white and blue. We had the sky, blue color sky and white color clouds. It was also matching the costume of the model. So there's a little bit of luck also involved in photography.
Yes, sir, it happens.
So here I've used the door as a frame, to frame the subject. And one thing I wanted to talk about is the importance of background. A lot of people give good importance to the subject, but they don't give as good importance to the background. Background is very, very important. You have to give equal importance to the background and the subject. Now you can see this, the sari and the flowers are of the similar color. There's nothing disturbing in the background. In this image also, you can see this. I've just used two colors. One is the green and one is white, and it's not clashing with the sari, and it's not clashing with the subject. So if I introduce a new color like red or yellow, that will take the attention immediately away from the subject.
Immediately away from the main subject.
Yes, red is a very strong color. Yellow is a very strong color. So but that's why they use in the all hospitals, ambulance, everything. They use red. They use a lot of yellow signs, because it will attract from a far away distance also, you can immediately see. So that's why I've used only two colors in this whole picture, so that the sari, that model is standing out properly. And here also the subject, you can see it's subject is popping out, because the background color is like supporting. It's not like fighting for attention with the subject. So I used a mild color background, so that the subject's red color sari is like standing out with the lamp and everything. Again, you can see I've given importance to the background. There's no disturbing elements in the background, like there's one telephone pole, there's one branch. All these things we have to take care of. Like when we are taking our photos outdoors, and we'll have branches growing out of tree, the head. We'll have some telephone poles. So all these things we have to consciously avoid whenever we are shooting portraits. So composition, I'll just, since we have only, I think, 5-10 more minutes, quickly. We normally use this triangular composition in professional work to give the sense of closeness. So we use the triangles. You can see I've used a triangle here. You can see it's an imaginary triangle. And here also I have used a triangle. Actually, we have played a lot with the light here. Actually, what you see is that the light is coming from the left side, and it's falling as a shadow on the background with some patterns and everything. But the thing is, like, it was done totally in the opposite. Actually, what happened was there was no space on the left hand side. It was a very small studio. So what we did was we created the light rays from the left, and we created the pattern from the right. So a little bit of cheating there. So this also image also, you can see it's in a triangular shape, and all these props and everything, it's all adding to the picture, and it's not taking away attention from the picture.
Attention from the main.
That is very important in a portrait shoot. So you can portraits a lot of things, like you have to understand which side the person looks good. I use a very simple technique. Sometimes we have people just come and stand in front of the camera. I just ask them, sir, which side do you take a selfie? They'll say, okay, I take selfie like this. Okay, then I'll try to shoot in that side, because that is a side which they're very comfortable looking at. Like every day they're looking at that side. They like that side, and that's why they take a selfie in that side. So we assume that that side will look good, and we'll take some test shots and see. So all these things happens only if you are a good communicator. So more than technical thing and more than your photography skill, you have to be a very good communicator when it comes to a portrait shoot. We have to, since we are working with people, we have to have good communication skills. Communication skills is very vital. Like Radha sir was also telling yesterday, your soft skills, like how you behave, how you dress, that is another thing. Like a lot of people, like sometimes if they smoke a lot, then they go into a room, you can just immediately feel the smell. So all these things are the soft skills that we have to develop as a portrait photographer, because when we are shooting with people, we should make, as I already telling you, that we have to make sure that they're very comfortable. So things like this, they'll sometimes don't like if we are wearing a very dirty shirt, dirty pant, and going there for the shoot, they don't like, because they find some people don't like that. So what we do is we'll try to dress in a neat manner, just be very polite in your language, and all these things. All these things only that makes you a very good portrait photographer. And again, when we are shooting with newborn kids and newborn babies, I have had a big experience there. I'll just try to share with you. I had a very important shoot on like say on Friday, some years back. On the other next day, I had a very important shoot, and I had a train ticket booked, and everything was ready, sir. But what happened was evening they came with a kid. There was a small child. The child started crying. So the more the child cried, the parents also got tense. They knew that I had to catch a train and I had a very important shoot the next day. So, but I told them, sir, please don't worry. It's okay. The more pressure you put on the child, the more he will cry.
Right.
The more they say, no, don't cry, and he starts crying even more. So what I said, sir, you don't worry about me, you don't worry about my ticket. I told my assistant, you see for any alternate travel plans, because I think it's going to be late. Even the last flight we are going to miss. We'll take a car, and all these alternate plans we had made. So we had to make sure that the child was not disturbed. So all these things we have to keep in mind as a portrait photographer. And as a YouTuber, I'm totally shameless. We have to ask YouTuber, once you become a YouTuber, you have to become a shameless person. So we have to ask, kindly subscribe to my channel and support my channel, all these things. So we have like 75,600 subscribers now. I think 76,000 subscribers now. So it's a small, it's a growing channel. So we have plenty of videos and photography tutorials for beginners as well as professionals. So kindly do subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And ma'am, if you want, we can have a question and answer session, ma'am. Mukesh,
Prasanna, one thing I wanted to add here for your YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
Most of the videos are in Tamil.
Yes, sir. I will add subtitles.
Okay, I think so. Simply you give the subtitle.
Yes, sir.
Even if you add a subtitle, it will be very useful for people away from Chennai, maybe Delhi, Chandigarh, Calcutta.
Daughter is laughing from behind, looking at my promotion for me.
Because I am watching your lot of YouTube videos. Yes, I don't know Tamil, but I know your language of communication with the camera and the light. Yes, so I am able to catch it, but others cannot catch it. So go for subtitle in English or Hindi, so that it becomes more popular, because we have got a lot of depth and lot of very, very important YouTube videos here in your channel. Yes, so that is one my suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
So one thing, one question I'm getting from all your pictures. All pictures regarding the arrangement, setup, lighting is fantastic, amazing. One thing I have noticed, you are using mostly F value below 8.
Yes, sir.
What is the reason?
Sir, if it's a full size subject, I use F8, sir.
F8, okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
No, fine. But mostly I have seen 3.2, 2.8.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like that.
I sometimes like that kind of a separation from the background, sir.
One more thing, fine. That is true. Second thing, you want to create the soft feeling.
Yes, sir. I want to create a very soft
feeling with the subject.
Yes,
that is also very important.
I want this thing to be gradually going out focus.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, what I personally feel is that's the the character of Prasanna sir. He never goes with the hard things. So I think he's always giving a soft and a very pleasant feeling to every viewer, everyone who's watching. So that's
Puja. Yes, I know about his heart very well, because we have stayed in the same hotel, in the same room a few times in Delhi. So we know each other very well, how soft he is from inside. Similarly, his images also speak that kind of softness.
They speak that, yes.
Yeah.
His artwork is like completely amazing. It speaks about him. And
about
I'm
his
really blessed
also.
that I get to speak with him very often.
I think the images we have seen, it is just, I can say, if I know Prasanna Sen, that is his class C, class B images. He has not shown any class A images here. I know that, but even that, those class C, class B images are so fantastically in terms of lighting, arrangement, composition, everything fantastic.
Thank you so
Right,
much.
sir, absolutely.
And the way you use the props, even in the a small studio. You have arranged everything, and that
Yes, sir,
wooden
sometimes we
blocks.
get very small space to shoot, sir. Very
Yeah,
difficult
yeah,
to
yeah,
shoot.
yeah, yeah. Fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So with this, yes, subscribe to Sir's channel here.
Subscribe to
Yes,
MESC channel, please.
yes, coming in from Prasanna sir. And now, earlier we used to only go on our website,
Okay.
which is Vidyadaan.net. Now we have, started giving slight focus on our YouTube channel as well. So now we hope we also grow with when we have legends like you people joining us here on
I'm
our
looking
channel.
forward to Mukesh sir's session, and tomorrow
Yes.
the Neil Bo's session, and Anil sir is a fantastic photographer.
He's a fantastic, fantastic.
He's a master class photographer.
I can tell you, Pooja, he is the guru of all of us.
Wow.
He has very strong depth of photography in our country, and he was ex-president of Federation of Indian Photography.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So before we close this session and thank Prasanna sir, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to inform about Mukesh sir's session coming on 16th on fine art photography. As they were talking about Anil sir. Anil sir is joining us on September 17th, 5 to 6 p.m. He is talking about experimentation with form and color. And yes, tomorrow we have art of fashion photography with fashion photographer Mr. Neil Bose. So, and
Wonderful,
yes,
wonderful.
this is all with the support of Prasanna sir. Prasanna sir has helped me a lot in organizing this
Thank you so much, ma'am.
series
Thank
of
you so much.
free workshops with Pixel Village. And thank you so much, Mukesh sir and Prasanna sir, for being a part of our platform. We'd really love, Mukesh sir, we'll love to have you as a guru on our Vidyadaan platform as well, if you allow.
Yeah.
And
He's a fantastic
issue.
mentor, ma'am. You should listen to him, listen to his class once. He's a fantastic mentor.
yes, sir, I'm very
So much
excited
of,
for
depth
upcoming 3
in
sessions.
knowledge. Yes, ma'am.
Right, so absolutely. I'm
Okay.
so excited, and so is my team, because we have, when we talk about photography, everybody nowadays wants to learn photography when they want to go on their channel, when they want to increase their followership on Instagram, YouTube, anywhere. So everybody wants to be a photographer and wants to polish their photography skills. So
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure this workshop is going to help a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for watching
Thank
us,
you.
and we'll be back tomorrow. As I've informed, do follow and subscribe to our channel for more sessions like this. We'll be having another series next week. So for this time, I'll take your leave. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. with Neil sir. Bye-bye.
Neil.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye, Prasanna sir.
Thank you, sir, Mukesh, and thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great having interacting with you.